need growth and new beginnings, never forgetting where you come from, never forgetting what you went through, but celebrate the good times and remember all the good things that did happen in life, whether it was with your loved ones or with yourself or your friends. All over the internet, there's constant things written up about what the green symbolizes on flowers, and I'm all about growth and constantly getting better at no matter what, whether it's a personal achievement in life or constantly trying to get better at my art or creating, get better at communicating with people in the social media universe or in person.
Yeah, exactly. What's good, everyone? Welcome back to My First Kicks. If you're seeing this, guess what? It's a shock drop. Right, AD?
Right.
Yo, let me tell you about what happened the night yesterday, man. Yo, so we're at Vintage on Race. I've been saying it, Vintage on the Race for some reason, but Vintage on Race, and we were recording a live podcast with Phil. It was me and the Sneaky Leak ladies. Shout out to Elaina and Janelle, and also shout out to Henny too. But bro, let me tell you that it was a disaster, right? I don't know if you ever put on a live production, but this is like my third I'm doing myself.
But you didn't have your equipment.
I don't have my own equipment. Yeah. So that's the problem with podcasting. You think it's easy, we make it look easy. I have a studio. It's a lot easier when you have a studio. Shout out to my peoples at my friend's basement. Like, they were super helpful. Like, I've been recording with them for a year now. You got to come up and do an episode. Absolutely. And it just went to shit. Just plain and simple. So that's why we're doing this episode. You see this setup is cool. If you're, I'll probably throw in some B-roll. Nah, I'm not gonna throw in any B-roll. This is just gonna be straight like this. But there's a whole stage. If you watch the live episode, I'm sorry for your ears. I'm sorry for your ears because you did try to give it a spin.
Yeah.
But the visuals look good, and then the camera overheated. So
here we are.
Yeah, so here we are. We got Aaron. He's helping me out this time to make sure that this one goes smooth for y'all.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Exactly. But AD, we've been trying to do this for a minute. Like the last episode you were on, it was, I guess that one got ripped to shreds on Twitter, right?
Yes, it did.
But shout out JSM, to be honest. He's been doing some good stuff with the NBA, some cool stuff with Justin Timberlake. So
did some stuff recently with Kevin Hart.
Exactly.
He's still killing the custom game.
He is, and we were able to experience this event, right, for the Grandma's Couch 2. If you were here live, you got to hear clearly the story of the Grandma's Couch 2. Hopefully later in this episode I'll have Phil back on, but let's catch up, man. What you've been up to, man? It's been a minute, man.
I know. I mean, since we last talked, still doing, middle school, still grinding that away. Recently wrapped up my student sneaker design competition.
Yes, which is man.
Always fun.
Everybody every year looks forward to that,
It's fun, man. And it's really cool because every year that I've done that, I've tried to be a little bit more intentional about what I want the kids to design.
Yeah.
So I try to focus on storytelling, and the first time I did it, I was just design whatever you want.
Right.
Kids were taking kids were getting Air Mags and making crazy colors and stuff. I was like, that's cool. But so I tried to make it more intentional, and honestly, I was able to come out for the first Grandma's Couch release.
Right. Yeah.
Phil is a master storyteller.
Yeah.
And I took inspiration from that, and I was like, you know what, I want to have my students tell stories too. Mm-hmm. So we kind of break down a bunch of different sneakers that tell great stories in sneakers, and then I encourage them to come up with something that resonates with them, that can also resonate with other people, and try to tell that story on a design. Build up all semester their skills using Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop to have them showcase this at the end. It's just cool to see what these kids come up with and see some of the stories they tell.
It's super inspirational, and I think that, I've always just trying to find ways to get kids into sneakers. That's the one thing about this, or being part of the sneaker community, is how do we find ways to bridge that gap? I feel like the gap continues to continuously grow, and then when you look online, it's always a lot of people just trying to be no, the OG and then too much like the younger kids are like, I don't want to talk to the younger. Like, how do we bridge that gap? And I always try to like have an open mind. And I mean, you're with the kids, so it's like really hard. Like I feel like it's hard to like make that connection.
It is. I mean, because like our interests and our styles are very different from a lot of what some of these kids, really enjoy. Like as a kid growing up, I was a Jordan head. Loved Jordan, loved basketball. And, that was when Mike was playing and doing his thing. And so there was a different, like, feel to his shoes. I mean, today you still have the nostalgia. It still pulls at that. But that nostalgia isn't there for kids because they don't know Mike. They don't know that kind of, like, what he did and stuff like that. So there's a lot of diversity with what these kids like and what they wear and stuff like that. And I think, just bridging that gap, celebrating that diversity, like what these kids are bringing to it. Like, not every one of them is going to want to be like an Air Max head or a Jordan head or hardcore Adidas or Asics or whatever. So just meeting these kids where they're at and just teaching them like the history of stuff, like through the storytelling that I try to do in class and stuff like that. And just let them be them. Like, stop trying to make people try to be something that they're not.
That's the thing now, because I feel like social media has definitely made everybody kind of want to just follow the same, patterns, right? Like, or like be part of the same, like just copying the same thing. I want to say like copy and pasting, because the creativity does come from within, but it's like you have to have trials and tribulations. But if you're not taking those chances, and like somebody's making fun of you or something like that, you kind of feel discouraged, right? Like,
right.
How do you push that forward into these kids?
I mean, you just got to do it yourself, first of all, right? Like, to be an example and just ignore what other people are saying. Be confident in who you are as a person and what you like to do. Everyone has their own interest, own skill set, and pursue it. Like, if that's like you love doing podcasts, talking to people, pursue it. Ignore the noise, right? I love doing photos and doing all that stuff. Ignore the noise that comes along with that as well. And so just encouraging kids to be confident in their abilities. And I mean, first we got to start being confident in who we are as people too, and in sneakers. Yeah.
You just got, recently, Complex featured you on Instagram. A lot of people were commenting saying, you've definitely made a space for teachers who love sneakers to really start, pushing themselves forward.
For sure.
I also feel like when you're a teacher, it's hard to have a social presence. So like, how do you balance the thing? Because like I feel like people get in trouble for being a teacher and being online.
Right. No, I can see that. I mean, there's a delicate, there's a fine line that you got to walk with that for sure. Really supportive administration that helped me out with stuff too. I mean, as long as you're not including the kids, in any of that stuff, then usually you're pretty good to go and not doing like super shady stuff online. Then it's usually fine.
I mean, I just feel like there's like sneaker teacher. I'm trying to think. There's a bunch There's a bunch of like Aaron's a teacher. Like there's a bunch of teacher creators that are. Shout out J Fire Fridays, who's also like works with kids. But they, like, you guys have been starting to really push forward that you can be part of sneakers, be part of an online presence, be positive, and then also be positive with kids, right?
For sure.
And I feel like literally right now when this is recording, Phil's speaking to young girls, trying to get them more into just storytelling and being part of something or community.
Right. Like, I mean, community is like growing, right? Like community should be growing and not stale. And I feel like as teachers, like, we don't teach sneaker classes, right? But like, if that's who you are as a person, if that's something that you love, like, why hide it from your students?
Yeah.
And so that's what I've tried to incorporate in the stuff that I do at school is like, I don't have like a teacher version of myself and then like a non-teacher version of myself. I'm just myself, like, all the time. Yeah. So when kids see that, they can relate to that a little bit more and buy into what you're trying to teach them as a teacher. Yeah. And then like, oh yeah, Mr. Dutton's into sneakers. You really like sneakers. And like, whether a kid's into sneakers or not after that, like, it is what it is. But like we talked about earlier, just kind of bridging that gap, right, between older generation, younger generation, and just including everybody in that. That's
because like, whenever I see like what Phil's doing, especially with this shoe, and I mean, like, specifically this shoe, like the friends and family colorway, like how, and we'll talk about it later, but during the live episode, we talked about how his grandmother picked these specific Pantone colors for this specific shoe, right?
I love that.
Like, and in honoring like his grandmother and Matriarchs, do you have a story where your mom hooked you up with sneakers?
So like I remember, so I grew up in Idaho, right? And Idaho isn't known for sneakers,
right?
At all. Potatoes, like that's what we got.
You wear potatoes for shoes.
Exactly. We got the potato stompers, and we go around in that. No, like, because I remember, because I was into basketball growing up, and so my exposure to sneakers was this tiny Foot Locker in my mall that was maybe there for 10 years and then closed because they weren't getting enough business, and then East Bay magazines. So I vividly remember always asking my mom for, like, specific Jordans in East Bay magazine, or asking my dad, and they're like, that's out of our price range, all this stuff. So, as a kid, you're disappointed by that, of course, but, like, just those experiences of just connecting with my parents, just by asking them to buy me sneakers. Like, I always remember that. And my parents now, they're like, see, now look what we turned you into.
Yeah.
You have too many sneakers.
Yeah. It definitely has become a beast. And especially now, like once we start working into sneakers and I always cap myself at like 150, and now it's so like hard. It's like crazy now. Like it's crazy. And I mean, thanks to you, you sent me the Wu-Tang dunks,
Yes, sir.
I'm forever grateful for that too, because you saw me crying on the one time I cried on Twitter. The one time I cried on Twitter, I actually my cries were actually heard.
They rang all the way over.
It was just crazy. I wish that like we had more people like that were just like looking out for our other friends, like building that bridge, as we say,
Yeah. It's like, I feel like friendships and sneakers, like, I don't know, we've talked about this off show a little bit, but there's a lot of transactional relationships in the sneaker space, and it's like, is that how sneakers like were, back in the day? Maybe to a degree.
I don't think so.
But social media's kind of opened up a whole nother can of worms with that, those transactional relationships that we have with people, and, whatever happened to hooking up friends, or like meeting friends and like doing things for your friends in sneakers. And I mean, that's the core of it, right? Like that's the essence of it. And we need to get back to that, people.
Please.
Enough of that tribalism.
Yeah. I mean, tribalism is always going to come with anything, which is especially with like a passion, right?
For sure.
Photography, there's tribalism in photography, there's tribalism in podcasting. Like there's tribalism in anything, especially when it comes to passion, because people feel like you're stepping on their toes when you're like you kind of do something like them, or like they don't see it as inspiration. Like even I can suffer from that, where somebody would take my question but take a spin to it and be like, not what's your first kicks, but like, hey, what's that pair that you the perfect pair for you, like something like that. Sure. No shot at anybody, but it's the way that I think you take, some people take it as flattery, some people take it as disrespect, some people like, but for me it's just like, if you can be inspired by me and try something, and then that brings you into something else, right? Like I feel like I've done my part for whatever
kind of pass it forward in a way,
exactly,
whether intentionally or unintentionally. Like, you put your stuff out there for people to see, and people are going to see it and take inspiration from it, whether you wanted to or not. And the best thing that you can do and we can do as people who create in the sneaker space is, pass that on. There's going to be people that are going to come up that are going to have a better podcast. There's going to be people that are going to come up that are going to take better pictures, do better review videos. It's going to happen. And so instead of trying to, avoid it or like, be all contentious about it, just, help each other out, because, we all grow together. Right? Like it's not like, oh, let's let this person grow and step over them to get to where we want to be. Like there's room enough for everybody.
There is. And especially with sneakers, like there is such a baby created thing. Like,
oh my gosh. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, we're our own echo chamber. Like people, like if you were to explain any of this stuff to somebody who wasn't into sneakers, they think we're crazy.
Oh,
I mean,
for
we are, but it's just, everybody has their own little like pockets of things that they enjoy in their own communities, in their own groups, and sometimes it can get a little heated in some of those, but that's just how it is. And I'm always one for positivity, always one for helping other people grow and just lifting people up. So
thank you for pulling up. and let me interview for,
of course,
you know,
it's been a long time coming.
This is, you know, I got jealous. Beyond Kicks got to do an in-person interview, and I was like, no, the next time we're doing this is in person. We got to do it in person. You know, this is the first time we've met in person.
Shoot, when was that first episode?
First episode was
22 or 23?
No, 2021. I think you only had like,
man.
I think you were only at like 20,000 followers when we were.
Dude, 2021, that's a while.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe. I'll
Dave,
have to fact check that.
Can you check his first episode? What can you check which his number of first episode? What year his episode was? Yeah. I know, that's why I'm yelling. And I'm keeping this in.
Live fact checks.
Yeah. But it's, you know, seeing you grow, you know, I said this in the last episode, like seeing you grow, because your consistency is second to none, you know. I try to follow you in terms of just like always having something up, but you know, you block your time out and you still get to spend time with your family. You get to go on vacations, you get to experience things. How the hell do you do it? Because I feel like me and Aaron have spoke about this a lot. Like I barely have time. I work a 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
I do the podcast, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm editing, right?
I mean, video and podcast stuff, that takes a while.
Yeah, man.
And so
I'm you know, this is for tips for, you know, anybody listening to this.
Yeah.
Like, what is your tips to manage that?
For me, like, I answered this the other day because when I was flying here on IG, I was answering questions. People, someone asked that exact question. And so, like, I just try to be all in on whatever it is I'm currently doing. So, like, if I'm in the classroom, I'm all in, like, locked in with the kids, doing everything I can to help them learn and grow. As soon as I leave school, I'm locked in, all in to being with my own kids and my wife until kids go to bed, stuff like that. And then spend a little bit of time with the wife, and after that I'm all in, locked in on photography and that kind of stuff too. And so I think just being intentional about like your time and what you do. And for me, like I don't really have a lot of downtime. I don't watch a lot of TV, don't play a lot of video games or anything like that. Because
would you consider that the sacrifice you made?
Ish, kind of, but like honestly, my relaxing downtime is when I'm shooting pictures. Like that's my like unwind time. Some people like video games, some people like TV shows or, you know, reading or anything like that, but that's my unwind time. And then there's early days on like weekends and stuff. Like I'll get up super early if I have a project that I'm working on, get that all done before the kids wake up so that's all finished and we can go do stuff as a family that day. So just busy, but just be intentional about what you do and just structure your time, and just be really intentional about what you do in those specific time slots. And I mean, I've developed a way for like me with pictures, I know my flow, right? And you've probably done the same thing with your podcast. It's like, okay, I got my structure, doing things, trying to optimize it as best as possible. So I just try to do that.
Your biggest tips for avoiding burnout?
Biggest tips for avoiding burnout?
Because mine is find time to have fun, like to turn everything off.
Balance, yes, for sure.
Like you need to, so for anybody listening and watching, like if you are, you know, back-to-back grinding like we are in terms to like put your content out or put your efforts forward, because you love this is your passion, so you're going to do it for free, so you really want to do it regardless, but you don't want to make it where it seems like it's a job.
Correct.
You know, so burnout is where you feel like it's a job. You're like, I can't wait till the next thing, like I don't want to wait. Like I don't, or not. I don't want to wait. I cannot do the next thing. Like, you know, like you keep putting it off. So I would always make sure, like Sundays, I don't do anything.
That's smart. Yeah. Because everyone's like, oh, lock in. Like everybody's got to lock
24/7
in. 24/7
lock in. Grind.
Always got to stay on that grind. But what happens when you grind something long enough? It's not there anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, you got to find balance. You got to pace yourself. Like I said, my family's a great balance for that, right? Like, so when I'm home. Get to lock in with the kids, get to play with the kids, do stuff with them, support them, try to go on trips with them, you know, when we can, and just like completely forget about that. And you often find that when you have taken those breaks or those mental breaks, you come back to it, you're rejuvenated, you're refreshed, you have new ideas, new perspectives on things, and then you just keep getting better that way. You're not going to keep getting better if you're doing the same thing 24/7. You need breaks. That's important.
You need the breaks. It's crazy because like when you start working in this creative world, and you know, Aaron behind the camera can understand this, like, you know, we talk about it. there are people that continuously get frustrated because they just do the same thing, and then they're expecting the accolades of somebody who keeps trying.
Right.
And so, like, when it comes to me and this podcast, I've always, like, I haven't, when you were on, I was very, like, trying to figure it out type of thing.
Oh, bro, I remember. It was like your webcam in your apartment.
Yeah.
It was like both of us had crappy cameras and audio.
And then I just kept, bringing it up outside for the episode before this episode. that was a downgrade.
That wasn't on you.
It was a live downgrade. I don't know. But the way that I try to just continuously make little adjustments, like, when I, or for interviewing somebody, like, I try to, see if I can get, make adjustments here and there. How do I get to this faster? Or how do I do this a little bit better? Or how do I avoid using the same words over and over again, How do I differentiate myself? And I think differentiating yourself in especially like a small niche spot like this, or is something that Phil has been doing, where he's standing out so much that the community loves it so much.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the same thing for you. When people find your stuff, they're just like, yo, this teacher is like, you're doing the floating sneaker above your head. You're doing, like you're adding in music. You're adding a piece of yourself, which is what Phil did with this shoe
for sure,
and his whole Adidas run. And how do you connect to that?
I mean, individuality, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to be, cookie cutter, do the same thing, and not shaming anybody. Like, there's a lot of podcasts, there's a lot of photographers, there's a lot of reviewers, and it's really hard to, like, differentiate between, like, each one of those lanes. And there's a lot of crossover between people that are in those lanes. And I think any way that you can add your own personal twist or your own personality into things, that's key. Because then, like, people, we already know people love sneakers within sneakers. So, like, do people love you as a person? Like, are they going to vibe with you as a person? So sharing your personality, sharing you out there with people, it's hard, honestly. Like, I remember when I first started, I did not want to take a picture of myself.
Right, yeah.
I just wanted to, it's all about shoes. And I was like, you know what? Like, I want to show people who I am and share that. And then by doing that, like, I've been able to meet dope people, right? Like, I've been able to meet you, been able to meet Aaron, been able to meet lots of people. And that's what it's about. It's just building those relationships with people and building friendships. Yeah.
I mean, friendships, that's the thing, right? Especially in the creator economy, as they say. Like, a lot of people are they're using network as network. Like, they're just like, oh, how do I move to the next person?
How can I use this person to get to the next level?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And building friendships, like Aaron said in his video, building bridges, like that. This is what we do it for more, right? This is the more rewarding. Like, me getting to talk to you and like meeting in person and
real
life.
life.
Like, we hugged each other as soon as we saw it. It felt like we'd known it. Because, like, when you sent me the Wu-Tangs, I was like so fucking happy. I instantly FaceTimed you.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was like, bro, you don't understand. Like, yo, I love this, man. Like, nobody's like, I was like, but people don't really do that for me unless they're like, they really like care for me,
Right.
So that's I love, bro. Like, you're a long time friends for me. Like,
dude. Friendship and connections.
Yeah,
that's what it's about.
But thank you for hopping on for this short revisit of us.
Absolutely.
This is like Kick Talk, the second Kick Talk. Remember? but shout out to Phil for bringing us on. Hopefully, the next person I talk to is Phil. But
yeah, shout out Phil. Definitely. Thank you for having us out here.
Yeah, for real. Do your plugs.
Do my plugs. Again, shout out Phil. I mean, dude is one of the most genuine people in sneakers right now.
Yeah.
Telling stories, building bridges like he did with his other, release before, and just such a genuine people. Shout out to you, Haas. Appreciate you having me on, man. Linking up here in real life. Shout out right now. I don't know when Haas is going to drop this, but shout out all the mothers.
It's coming out on either Sunday or Monday.
Oh, Sunday or Monday. So shout out to all the mothers, right? Shout out my wife.
July 1st, 2022 is your first appearance.
2020, dude. That was a minute ago.
Yeah, man.
That was almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You cut me off. Now I forgot what I'm going to talk about.
You're talking about shout out to the mothers.
Oh, yeah. Shout out mothers. Shout out my wife for being supportive, loving me for who I am and what I do, and being my partner with my kids. And, teamwork with that is where it's at. And, shout out everybody in sneakers trying to, do their thing. Keep grinding. Well, don't grind, because we already talked bad about grinding.
Say if your mother, this is going to sound mad grim, but if the matriarch in your family is still around, I can't say that to everybody, but make sure you say you love them.
Absolutely.
You know, like so one thing I still take care of my mom. Like my mom had me when she was older. I talked about in the live episode. Like I'm an only child, and my mom raised me basically. Like, but you know, I still, even though I don't take it for granted that she can call me. You know, some people don't get that opportunity.
Yes.
You know, so if you are able to get that call from your mom, you look down at your phone, just pick it up.
And if you can, go give your mom a big hug too.
Yeah, for sure.
Moms run this world.
Thank you again, AD.
Thank you, Haas. Appreciate you, bro.
Not left hand.
I know. What'd you do?
Oh, so I was playing basketball, and the guy passed the ball too hard, and it bent my pinky all the way back.
Bro.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Pinky. I don't want my pinky to look like that.
No, see.
Show the camera.
That was. I thought I jammed my finger and I taped it just like yours, and it wasn't jammed. It was broken. So I was like,
nah.
yours isn't crooked. So I think you're good.
mine's not crooked. It's just messed up.
As
right
Aaron showed us his messed up fingers.
Oh man, we all got messed up fingers. Mine. This one's broke. So on to the next person. You really think that you can keep watching this episode without subscribing, or leaving a comment? Come on, man. And also, if you've been listening to this episode, leave a review. But back to the episode. Yo, we're back. You know, this is the shock drop episode. Got front page Aaron on. This is third time back on the podcast, man.
Hey, third time's a charm, bro. Third time's a charm.
Yo,
You're gonna get it right this time.
I told you the story of what happened, so you know I'm not gonna go over it again.
Now let's go over it.
I'm not going over it.
I want to toot my own horn. Like, yo, let's go over it again one more time.
Yes, did a live show with the Sneaky League ladies yesterday. Shout out to everybody that pulled up and was able to partake. If you're listening to it, I'm sorry, but you're listening to this because Aaron.
Yo, I came through. I'm in these rooms, and I'm nah, for real though, I'm in these rooms, and I just knew how to work the camera, so I got the camera set up. That's all I did.
All right,
That's all I
man.
did, get the camera set up.
Don't start nothing on my podcast, man. Look, you definitely came in clutch. You know, I wish you were here yesterday because I feel like this would have went way smoother. We'll not make this mistake again. I will say I'm gonna be like, you know, I'm gonna need Aaron here. Aaron's my official camera guy.
Hey, make it official. Just make it official. From here, let's sign the contract.
No,
the contract
I don't got.
at?
I'm not. I don't.
Hey, the producer already said it. He already linked it. He already inked it.
You're in the writer now. You're in the writer.
Contract DocuSign.
It's Look, we're here at the venue. You know, let's talk about, because we didn't get to talk about our time at the Piggy Racer event. You know, what'd you think about that execution and visiting the American Sign Museum? Like we hung out all day. Like this is the first time we met in person. That was the first time we met in person.
Yeah.
So like, what was that experience for you?
Nah, it was dope, man. It was dope. That venue was amazing. The Sign Museum was dope. The people there were dope. It was dope after maybe like 5 years of knowing each other online and video calls, meeting in person for the first time. So that was dope, bro. It was dope to get together. Phil obviously shocked the world with the blue pair, and it was just a good vibe, man. Good vibe. Yeah,
the way that the Piggy Racers, like that drop, like my first time actually being asked to come out, you know, to an event for a sneaker. So you know, I was like a deer in headlights. Like you got to experience the building bridges. You got to talk about building bridges. After the event, the next day we got to go to the bridge, you know, and got to see it. We took pictures together. Well, no, you took pictures of me. Now we took pictures together.
A professional model, professional hand and shoe model,
hand and feet
model. Haas, book him. My First Kicks podcast / my first modeling contract. You know,
my first feats.
My first feats.
It's like I said, that's actually kind of fire. My first feats, but like feats like feature, like
hey, trademark it. You heard it here first. Heard it here first. May 10th.
Yo, it's very like that. Like being able to be partake in like this stuff, and the way that Phil has been picking like who he wants to be at his events, like trying to help people get more chances, more looks in their creatives and their creative process, or even just to like, you know, be able to, he's like really taking chances on people who feels that are putting in a lot of effort and putting in a lot of time. Like, you know, did you ever think when you first made those videos, because we've been like you said, we've been friends for 5 years, like you've been trying to make content for a while now, like now I feel like you found your groove, you found like, you know, you're in front of the camera, you figured out what the topics that you wanted to talk about and like how you want to present yourself. Like, where does that inspiration come from, and how do you feel about Phil just like, you know, giving you a chance last year with that?
Yo, so the inspiration definitely comes from just the love of sneakers, right? I think for all of us it started that way. I think for all of us it really was just as kids we fell in love with shoes, whether we had them or not, and now we're able to get them as adults now that we have real jobs. And so just trying to stay true to the essence of that, just trying to stay true. I actually took about 7 months off last year from making content,
right,
which was crazy. More than half the year I didn't make a single video or take pictures because I really had to kind of ground myself again in what I was doing this for, which is this, building community, like feeling a part of something. And I think Phil recognizes that. I think he recognizes that sometimes that community feeling, the people who are most influential are just in your inner circle. And so when you have people that you would call maybe micro influencers or people with smaller followings, but they have built a community, that sometimes is more powerful than like, you know, crazy millions of followers, just because it's real, you can connect with them. And so I'm grateful for Phil, man, because not a lot of people are doing that. Actually, most people aren't doing that, right? They're looking for metrics, they're looking for numbers, and that's how they justify you being there instead of truly trying to build a community and something special that people feel a part of.
Yeah, building community has definitely been, I feel like, the hardest part about this, because, you know, we talk about how like we have a lot of conversations that are not on camera, but we talk about how some people think they're building community, but really they're just trying to bolster themselves up, you know, or like trying to feel like they are the bigger person in this like sea of content creation, you know? So it's a lot harder to navigate when everybody's trying to be that person, right? So you don't know who to talk to, who to ask for advice, like, and that can be two ways, right? Like, if that's the common perception of what's going on, then how do we grow in this? Because we feel like everybody's just trying to eventually stab us in the back, you know?
Nah, it's a wild place to navigate, man. I think if you can stay rooted and grounded and like you just contribute in your own positive way, right? Like you find ways to contribute and you find ways to uplift other people, then ultimately karma is a real thing, right? It'll come back to you. We really have to get past the transactional relationships, right? Like we really have to get past people just using each other or like, you know, using someone's name for their advantage. Like you contribute, you find a way to contribute in a meaningful way. Like what you're doing with your podcast, like what AD does with his photos, like what I'm trying to do, just asking questions and sparking conversation. You have to find a way to contribute, and then I think you build that community almost like naturally, right? Because we just all connected because of we're just trying to play our part in this, and that's when you can lift each other up. That's when you can offer advice, and it's very obvious, man. Like when people are purely transactional and they're just trying to use this to catapult themselves into something more, that relationship is fragile. So I think we just keep doing what we're doing, man. We keep contributing in a meaningful way, in the way that we best know how, and then naturally and organically these relationships will form and you'll just grow, right? Like opportunities come just naturally because other people recognize that as well. I think more people are recognizing it, like, you know, when it's so easy to flood someone's DMs and ask for things and expect things, like I think they can figure out who's in it for real and who's not.
Yeah, you know, you do talk about like your work as a teacher and like, you know, you're teaching these kids about marketing. And how do you implement, you know, sneakers into that? Because I feel like you don't really touch on it a lot, but you do like AD. We talk about how AD, you know, incorporates his kids with his designs, his design contest, and you know, and the reason why I'm bringing up kids because we're at the kids event right now, and so how do you know, continue to help that and bridge that gap, you know?
Yo, I actually have, it's crazy because I have 80s photos in my classroom behind, I think I sent him a picture of it, like behind my desk. I have the photos that he's taken framed. And so kids, when they come into my classroom, the kids when they come into my
AD just cried off camera. He shed one tear.
We might moment of silence for AD.
Moment of silence.
Yo, moment of silence for AD. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, AD's a good friend, and so we've been able to connect off camera a lot too. But I have his pictures up in my classroom, and so that's one of the first connections I make with kids, and so they know that it's a passion of mine. A lot of them follow my Instagram account, even though they shouldn't, and they need to stop trying to message me. But
Mr. Diaz, can you give me an A?
Yeah, they wilding, man. They be trolling me. Yeah, one kid commented the other day, like, "Can you grade my essay?" And like, no, I'm not grading it right now. I'm gonna give you an F for commenting on my Instagram post. All right, I'm going live on Instagram. I'm not grading your work. No, I'm kidding. But a lot of what I do, a lot of the marketing base is sneakers. Like I've been blessed enough to have some guest speakers from major brands speak to my class about marketing, and I have another one lined up this week. I won't name drop. I'm gonna gatekeep that one, but essentially,
Phil Knight, pull up.
Yo, Phil Knight, Tinker Hatfield, jump on the pod. My first gigs, and then come talk to my class.
We could do it. We could do the live pod, but we just won't record it because I'm not recording live pods.
Yeah, no more. No, but a lot of what they do is studying Nike marketing campaigns and Adidas marketing campaigns.
Yeah.
I have the sticker. Phil sent me some posters to give out to students, so they have Unheard Of stickers on their binders and the posters up in the classroom too. So I try to show them in ways that are applicable to them. Right? They like fashion, they like shoes, and so this is an easy way to blend both worlds that are a passion of mine.
No, yeah. I mean, it's the one thing that's the hardest is to bridge like that gap. And
Yeah.
AD was on previously, and we were talking about that because, like, I mean, I feel like this year, because like last year my whole thing was community. Every guest I've had on, I mean, you listen to the podcast, I was talking to them about community. How do we build community, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like this year, my theme for this is how do we bridge that gap between the younger generation of sneakerheads and hopefully new ones and the old ones that are like set in their ways, right? Like, how do we reach back and be like, nah, this is like not like on some like this is how you do it. It's more like show me how you appreciate this, so that we know, you know, we are both appreciating the culture. We're just appreciating it in our own way. And I feel like when you're an older sneakerhead, you're so jaded of like you're not appreciating it right.
Yep.
You know, oh, what you weren't there for the Pigeons release. You weren't there. Like, yeah, I know. My mom was out on the line with you. Like, what do you mean?
My mom was 18.
So it about like bridging that gap, and you know, not to make the pun on, you know, Phil released that shoe. The idea that, you know, we have to be so separated in order to appreciate this. I feel like we need to break that up. And, you know, you recently started a new series where you're asking these people that you look up to or people that you're influenced by ever since you were younger about questions, like these questions that you had on your mind. And you're like, I want to just, since we're using social media, we might as well see what happens. And you've been having a good response in terms of just like people actually jumping in and helping you get these responses. Yeah. So is that part of you trying to bridge that gap or reach out to your younger self or?
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. That's purely selfish for me. It's just like, you know, these are questions we always wanted to ask, and I was just sitting there the other day, and I'm like, well, I don't have a podcast, I don't have a platform really where they could jump on and we could have a conversation, and so I figured if I could just get a DM, if I could just get a video response, a story response, a comment, then that's enough for me. That satisfies kind of my itch, right, to get that. But to your point of bridging the gap, I do think, and I'm guilty of this, and I need to get better at it. I do think
that you're a gatekeeper. Yeah, all right,
absolutely.
Now we can end
it. Yeah, yo, I'm a gatekeeper, 1,000%. Yo, clip that. I could get better at is just like understanding they don't care about shoes in the same way that we do, right? They care about shoes. Yeah, and just getting to that point where that's fine, right? Like, AD knows because he teaches too. Like, he'll wear a pair of like Air Max Thunders, and the kids are like, oh, those are bricks, or like, yo, what do you have on? And you're like, yo, the Air Max Thunders, like, you don't understand. And I want to do that a lot, right? I used to do it, and I'm like, bro, you don't even know what these are, right? Like, and I teach juniors and seniors in high school, so we have those, you know, we have that little banter back and forth. But I have to realize, like, they care about shoes in in the sense of like fashion, right? Like how do these shoes fit into like what I'm wearing? Whereas like I feel like we were more like we'll throw whatever on with the shoes. Like I have the shoes, I have the Dunks, I have these SBs. Like we'll throw whatever on. You know, we'll go get the Stussy, we'll go get the Supreme, the streetwear to match the shoes. Whereas like for them, it's like, all right, the fashion comes first, right? Like the Rick, they like high fashion. They have just a different.
But the thing is, this is what I'm trying to say. We had that too. Remember when back in the day, people were stealing Ferragamo belts? Like, you know, like true. People were stealing stuff.
You was getting jumped for your fur coat in New York.
Your Murs, if you had a Mur, it was over for you. Like that. It's the same thing now, right?
Yeah.
Like kids are stealing the high fashion like stuff, or they're stealing money to get it.
Or they're wearing fakes, and they're wearing fakes, and they don't care. Like they'll wear a fake Supreme, they'll wear a fake Bape, they'll wear fake designer, and they don't care. Like they're not like, yo, we saw someone. I mean, granted, our fakes were like the see-through Dub Zeros or like the SpongeBob Dub Zeros. So like the SpongeBob Dub Zeros. Like, yo, those are our fakes.
Did you see Joe LaPuma say he loved the Dub Zeros?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, but what about SpongeBob? What about the SpongeBob ones?
The SpongeBob see-through ones, right? Like that was our fakes, and they're getting fakes that like look almost exactly like a real sneaker.
And then you hear people be like, but it's the same factory.
Nah,
get out of here with that. But that's because, you know, there's no education, right? We just shame people. And we just shame people. And so that's the problem, right? We're not being like, yo, oh, you want those? But how about this instead, right? Where, oh, you like Rick's? Ooh, look, Adidas drop whatever, you know, like, you know what I mean?
Yo, another part to that too is they don't really need to be educated, and that sounds kind of ignorant, but like we had to go look for this, right? Like we had to search it up. We had to go and talk to people at the store. Like we had to ask questions. They have everything in their hand. Like they can just scroll and be told like, oh, this is coming out, and then move on, right? Like we have release calendars through next year already, right? Like, they don't need to seek it out the way we did. It's like, yo, I wonder if this guy's designed other shoes. Like they have all of that. And so it's just a different space. So we have to find a way to reach them in a way that's different. So, but
So I've been asking. I asked AD the same question, but like, do you have like a? I mean, I know your mom hooked you up, but like, do you have? We talked about how your mom hooked you up. So what is there like a specific story? That's not the story that you told on this podcast before, but is there one? It doesn't have to be like a crazy one. And just like, is there a moment where like your mom hooked you up one time, you know, Mother's Day type of story?
Yeah. Shout out to my mom, man. Like, I think the older you get, the more you appreciate the sacrifices they make. Like having my own kids now and realizing like,
you got kids?
Yo, I got two. Haas has been on FaceTime with my kids, so he knows. So
shout out to the kids.
Hey, shout out Naomi. Speaking of
Naomi,
shout out Naomi, dear Naomi.
It's not Naomi.
Nah, not Naomi.
Yeah. Shout out Brooklyn.
Shout out Brooklyn. But yeah, shout out to my mom, man. Like we didn't have a lot. We lived in a basement in Brooklyn, but like for her, it just felt so important to get shoes, and for me, it was getting the 17s. Like I remember going in Brooklyn. There's a store called Top to Bottom. It's on Fulton and Crescent, and she was just like, yo, we're getting the 17s. They came out today. Let's go. We got home from school. We walked with her to the store. We got them. My size was too small still for the suitcase, but my godbrother wasn't. So I saw him get the suitcase. I got the Jordan box.
Damn.
I know. Sad. I missed out.
AOL disc in that shit too, right?
Yep.
Whatever. I say it's an AOL disc, but it's just it's like a disc with like Jordan pictures on it or something, right?
So I just appreciate her putting that in our forefront and exposing me to a variety of shoes, like New Balances, Nikes, Jordans. Like she felt it was important, and to this day, it's one of the most important things to me. So shout out to my mom. I love you, appreciate you.
Yo, thank you for pulling back up, and thank you for helping me with the camera stuff, yo.
Facts.
Yeah, yo.
All right, bro. Appreciate
you.
Peace.
Yo, and we're back. You know, Phil, thank you so much for letting me come out and do this. Yesterday was the live show element was great. Like everybody had fun. I feel like. I mean, just what I put out, which is gonna overtake this, was terrible. The static on everything just sounded so bad. So I wanted to kind of make it up and do my own shock drop, as you shock dropped your this shoe right here. wanted to talk about this because I feel like that what really got cut out that hurt the most was you explaining the secret colorway of this shoe when you shock dropped the shoe. So can you break it down?
Yeah, the green colorway basically symbolizes, what the color green means on orchids or even flowers, symbolizing to me growth and new beginnings, never forgetting where you come from, never forgetting what you went through, but celebrate the good times and remember all the good things that did happen in life, whether it was with your loved ones or with yourself or your friends. All over the internet, there's constant things written up about what the green symbolizes on flowers, and I'm all about growth and constantly getting better at no matter what, whether it's a personal achievement in life or constantly trying to get better at my art or creating, get better at communicating with people in the social media universe or in person.
Yeah, exactly. You also touched on in the episode that, if you can hear, each color was picked by your grandmother, and today is the day after this. Today, if you missed the live, today you were able to give back the community aspect of donating to the kids. I'm glad I get to talk to you after, but what was that? How did that feel for you? And the concept of specifically giving it to the girls this time around.
I mean, every release, I'm always going to have kids from my area involved. My sister, Erica, we grew up really, really poor. We went through a lot of hard things in life, things that you would only see in an HBO type show or a documentary. And, there are unimaginable things. And we're not the only ones that went through that in life. In our neighborhood, it was all walks of life. Like you saw today, these girls that came in today, they're all different races and have all different backgrounds and all different stories. And in their eyes, especially me growing up, we didn't look at each other of we're different because we're, our skin color is different. Mm-hmm. We all looked at each other and we're like, damn, we're poor. The only color that really matters to us is green. And we got to get out of poverty. And growing up, there were people that came back and helped me, and I wouldn't say necessarily paved the way for me, but definitely showed me a light, and I just ran towards it and ran down it. And every time I work on anything, whether it's a skateboard deck, a t-shirt, a pair of shoes, I constantly always make extra or go to the side to go back and give to people in my community and try and grow that community to more communities by word of mouth and networking and reaching. But you saw today real kids, and you didn't see a corporation. You didn't see guys in bow ties and tuxedos and fancy shindig. You saw real life kids getting the shoes, the box, the art, and having that real experience with me, because that's what they need to get to have that one piece of advice to change their life forever, to motivate them to change directions. So that's why we always constantly go back. And it's a Mother's Day themed, it's a women empowerment theme. All shoes have been kind of themed after a female, except for Pork Chop. But those girls are going through things that my little sister Erica went through, and that's why I'm constantly always bringing those schools around.
What's really dope, I mean, we touched on it, and I think the way you bring community together, it's super commendable. I'm saying it again. It's really tough, when you see the internet, how it interacts with sneakers, but then when it comes to how the internet interacts with your sneakers, I think it's just mostly out of love, because the way you put yourselves into these shoes and how you connect with people, it's I don't think anybody else can do that, right? Because, your story has been said, you've been on several, done articles and stuff like that, where when people read it, they're just I'm going to root for you, right? So the story behind the Pork Chop Runner and people making fun of you and you owning the name, how does that, how do you continue that, especially even into the future, or how do you continue to just keep pushing that, and especially in the eyes of like the younger kids who do kind of go through that stuff, or like who do have relationships that are not like fulfilling, but like how do you bridge that gap to also pun that?
Well, I'm kind of confused on your question.
Yeah.
How do I continue to bring stories to life?
Yeah, how do you continue? No, but with the kids. So like with the community and the kids, because
I mean, in this environment and in this community, there's a million stories that happen a day.
Yeah.
Like what they experience, what they go through, the names they're called, then go home and see, dealing with their older brother or a younger sister, or dealing with a drunk dad or a drunk mom, and like they have so many stories.
Yeah.
And there's so much of this world in this world that happens like that. And I think because of COVID, there's definitely a lot of more awareness of mental health. There's all kinds of people that suffer from mental health and have suicidal thoughts, and I think us as a human race are now being really open and starting to listen more and be more sympathetic to what people go through.
Yeah.
I get it. We're in America. This is a great country, the greatest country in the world, and we're very blessed to be born in this country. And people in other countries go through a lot of stuff, and I've been fortunate enough to leave this country and travel and see a lot of the planet. And I've done some amazing things in my life, and I'm really proud and really respect myself for what I've seen and where I've gone on this planet. And people are constantly, because I communicate to a lot of people that are in other countries, and they're constantly like, but do you know what it was like in this country? And and I'm like, I understand that, but what the rest of the world doesn't understand is what it's like in America, in poverty, in the bulliness, and the suicidal, and like the things that happen, whether it's in the hood or if it's in the suburb, or it doesn't matter. Like mental health is gnarly, and we definitely need to be kinder to one another and quit picking on one another and quit behaving the way we do to hurt people's feelings and like intentionally degrade people. And there's a lot of that goes on in these schools and in these kids and in these communities, and I think that's why a lot of kids kind of crawl up into a shell and stay in that shell. And I definitely was one of those kids. Like I got picked on, like all the time. I still get picked on, and like in the sneaker world, like whatever, that doesn't bother me. Like I get it. I'm working with Adidas. I did a rivalry. It's not like a Travis Scott and a Jordan. And,
so what? But
that stuff doesn't bother. I love that stuff. I love hate. I love being hated on. But I've learned to roll with it, right? I've learned to roll with the punches, and but I'm still like behind closed doors, constantly being told like, oh, don't work with him. Like, he steals from the community or whatever it is. And that's where it's like, whoa, like even after all this homework and all this blood, sweat, and tears we put in, we still do this. I still have to go home, put my head down, and, let the water roll off my back like a duck. You got to keep your head down. You got to keep working hard, because there's always somebody that's going to try and take what you're building, you know? And that's why I'm constantly advocating to these young kids is like, you guys are about to become young adults, and you're the future of the generation, and you have a generation that's going to be looking to you very soon. And the choices you make and the things you go through right now is what's going to encourage your younger siblings and the generation below you to mature and be better as well. And I think a lot of these kids really resonate with that with me, because they hear my story, they've experienced what I've gone through, and that they could see that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And that's obviously my biggest message to these kids.
Both. So I was able to experience the Piggy Runner release and this release. What's your big, like, I would love to know the inspiration behind holding the event at the Piggy Runner, for the Piggy Runner at the museum, because I didn't get to talk to you about that.
Yeah, so Piggy Runner, the Sign Museum is just a place that, like, I can't read, I can't write, I'm dyslexic, but I'm very good at observing things, and I'm very good at communicating and talking and telling a story, obviously. and then I'm extremely good at making people laugh and cry. So one of my favorite things, no matter where I go, where I travel, is kind of discover what built the city or the town or the community. And I go all over the place. I meet all these people, and then I go back. I tell them like, "Yo, this is what Cincinnati has to offer."
Yeah.
So the Sign Museum, you know, isn't like this Taj Mahal thing of Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is, and like the Reds are.
Yeah.
But that's an iconic place, and you experience that. And that's a dying breed of art that no longer really exists.
Yeah.
They've been collectors and hoarders, and those guys just, that's their hobby, that's their art, that's their passion. They've collected these signs, they've preserved these signs, they make these signs, and they're kind of a dying breed, and they built an amazing museum. And I want to always support those museums and these people, but that's where I go to get inspired. I go to museums and I look at signs and I look at logos, and you know, they have signs that date back to the 1800s and the history of like window painting and how they paint the letters on banks and stuff. And like you can read about that online, and you can watch YouTube videos about like that on, but you're never gonna have that experience thing like going and seeing that stuff in person, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a place that like I went to, I got really inspired. And you know, a lot of that art you kind of see with like Pork Chop's head. You know, we made the neon T-shirt.
I love that shirt.
And it's just, yeah, man, it's just a place that you know, I've always gone to get inspiration and stay motivated.
Yeah, and then for this release, you know, you decked out the stage. What's the inspiration of like outside of the living room? But like, what I would love to.
We were just recreating. We were just recreating like a grandma living room or a tea room. You know, I really wanted to have a like spiritual moment with a lot of the female influencers and sneaker collectors and female audience, and then women in my life that have helped me kind of like grow as an individual outside of the sneaker world.
Yeah.
Come here and just have a celebration of life. Celebrate them, give them their flowers, and this is a great place to host just because it's a big open space.
Yeah.
The windows outside is like the biggest billboard.
Yeah.
But this also used to be the headquarters for Macy's in the Midwest.
Wow.
And this was like one of the largest Macy's stores. And when Macy's closed up and went out of business, you know, it was one of those things like Cincinnati was going to belly flop. And I just think it's really cool that Macy's left here, and I'm doing a pop-up shop here, and like we'll have 300 people here. We'll shut this place down.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool that like something that didn't work now is going to work tonight.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're supporting a new business that kind of took over the space.
Yeah.
And, you know, we try to always support somebody locally in town to help them and get the word out about their local business as well.
No, yeah, you made this a straight up destination. Like I said it at the live show. I said it super commendable. Like I think that like making your hometown destination is something super hard, but everybody wants to do. I mean, you're when you're on the internet, people are like, "Oh, my town's not a sneaker town. I can't do stuff here. But I've always said, build it. Like if you build it, they will come. You know, feel the dreams. Like
you know, we've been building it for 25 years.
Yeah.
But the city has like obviously backed us and supported us since day one, and that's why I put Unheardof in downtown Cincinnati on 4th Street in the heart of the city during the recession. Right after the city went through a major race war and riots and looting.
Yeah.
And you know, you guys have walked the city the last few days. There's no retail here.
No, yeah.
Right? And that's why I've had this chip on my shoulder and rivaled other retailers, even retailers in our own city, because like they've said, no one will support you. No one wants to come to Cincinnati. No one's going to buy sneakers in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You need to be by a college, go to Columbus, go here, go there, whatever it was. Everybody told me I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. And then you start working with brands, and it's like, yo, I got this idea. And it's not like I would go to a brand and be like, hey, man, I got this idea. I want to do this, shoe for this, and I need 500 pairs because I'm cool. No, I would show up with a real presentation, mock the shoe up, pick the Pantones, design the whole thing out, and have merch.
Oh, wow. Already ready to go.
Yeah, and Grandma's Couch was supposed to be a Nike collab.
Wow. Okay.
And, yeah, like we went straight to the top, mocked everything up. And then it's like, yeah, this is a bad idea. No one wants this. No one wants to do this.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right. So you hold, one of the very first interviews was Team Roshi was like, if you could do a Roshi, what would it be? Mm-hmm. And I was like, Grandma's Couch. I did a Nike ID. I made it Grandma's Couch. I did the 2015 Nasty Boy.
Yeah.
And then right after that, I was like, here's my next shoe, Grandma's Couch. And I have a booklet of how I made the presentation, and I'll show that to you off camera.
Hell yeah.
But, yeah, man, you just got to keep pitching yourself, keep believing in yourself, and, like, you can't give up because, like, one day someone's going to be like, all right, here's your shot, prove it, and then you just got to take advantage of it.
No, yeah, we talked about, like, you finding your grandfather's chest with all his paintings, and you kept saying he was a failed artist, but, like, during the live, Elaina was saying that, like, he's not a failed artist now, right? You're able to share the world, share his art with the world, which is something that he wanted to do that you were able to fulfill. How does that make you feel, though?
Oh, it's amazing. I just really wish that he was here to experience that.
Yeah.
I know everybody's going to tell me, well, he's watching, he's listening. Yeah. But, like, my grandpa was one of my biggest fans, if not the biggest fan, next to Grandma. And he would constantly, I bought him a computer, and he would constantly be on the internet Googling me.
Really?
And, yeah, for real. Every doctor, every church, anywhere he ever go, he'd be like, this is my grandson. He is a big shoe salesman. I was like, cool. He called me Al Bundy from Married with Children. But no, he was a big advocate. And yeah, he would Google me and read all the articles and stuff up until his like last breath.
That's love. I love that.
But yeah,
He's proud of you, man.
No, I know. I made him proud. They told me all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a huge thing to take in and be responsible for. And like, they took care of me at a very young age, and just made sure I was good. And then I started taking care of them. During COVID, like I bought all their food and took care of the nursing staff.
Yeah.
And, nursing home or nothing.
Mm-hmm. That's
we good?
Oh my God. All right. The way that is like, is it going? Yeah, it's going. I'll fix it. It's good? You're good? All right. No. But the last question I wanted to ask you, we talked about, I've been asking everybody because I had AD talk about it, but like, do you have a matriarch story, like a story about your grandma with sneakers and like she blessing you with sneakers? I know I asked it on stage, so would love to hear it again.
No, my grandma never bought me a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
The one thing my grandma bought me one year for Christmas was like, there's tech decks, and then for 1 year there were like tech BMX toys.
Oh yeah, I love those. I had one too. Yeah.
So from Walgreens. So like that's where Christmas shopping was done at. Was like at the Walgreens. Mm-hmm. Because we would go over for Christmas, but mostly just to eat dinner. It wasn't like we had like presents to open, and I don't think I've ever opened a birthday gift in my life with my grandma or my mom. Mm-hmm. But it was constantly her just writing a message to me in a card. And then obviously like once I got older, she's like, I want to get you something, you've done so much. I'm like, I want those messages, I want those letters.
Yeah.
That's why I have all those voicemails saved, and I got hundreds of voicemails saved. And I think from like 0 to 12, I didn't really realize in full that how poor we were or how like gnarly our lives were and the shit we were going through. It didn't really hit until I was like 15, but at 15 I was already skating.
Yeah.
And I already started getting free shoes from brands.
Right.
Or like the guys I skated with. So that's when it hit, and that's why I immediately started giving shoes back to other people. Now my mom, on the other hand, I don't want to get too gnarly on this interview, but one time she, well, I'll just say she stole some shoes.
Yeah.
And then that was like my Christmas gift.
Yeah.
But majority of the shoes that we had were like hand-me-downs, or like the church gave them to us.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that's why I can see that you're so big into giving back. You know, like you're able to be that person that makes the less fortunate. I feel like that's the worst way to say it, but the less fortunate, you know, able to experience stuff that takes them away from their what they're experiencing right now, and that's a great gift. You know, it's a great chance to change somebody's life. You know.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Well, thank you, man. It means a lot coming from you. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all you content creators coming out here supporting me.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, when you said people see a little piece of themselves in the me, because I know how hard it is.
Oh, yeah,
I know
for
how
sure.
hard it is when you know you're right and you know what you're creating's dope and your visuals are it, and people don't want to give you a shot, and you got to prove them wrong. And I know I've proved a lot of people wrong.
You sure have.
And I'm not done proving them wrong.
Yeah.
I'm going to prove the whole world wrong. But I'm also going to inspire these kids to not give up on themselves and to continue to like keep believing and keep trying. And you know, you guys just got to keep trying too. And that's why I reached out, man, because I love what you guys do and what you create.
Man, you know, thank you so much. You know, being at this for 5 years and also just like seeing your growth as well. And you know, Nasty Boys. I told you, I was like, that's the one that got away from me, because you don't understand.
I hear that a lot.
Yo, look. Because obviously, you know, everybody's like, I say this, like, everybody's intro into a new shoe or a brand or something like that is through like a collaboration. And so when I found that, I was like, I gotta get these. And then I signed up for the newsletter, and ever since then I've always been a fan, because that was the only way I can get them, was that like sign up for the newsletter and then you get the message like, oh, these are out. And then ever since, I've been a fan since then, man.
That's funny, because like when the Nasty Boys came out, that was the time when SB was whack.
Yeah.
Like skate shops hated
tape
them.
box, right?
Yeah, skate shops hated them. They didn't want them in their store. Dunks were dead.
Yeah.
And people were just really kind of over and burnt out on Dunks. And I was like, yo, I'll do two.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Rivalry. I did Erica's Poem, and the amount of people that told me that was the ugliest shoe they've ever seen, it was a brick, blah, 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 all this stuff. Now it's nonstop. Like, yo, I slept on Erica's Poem. I need Erica's Poem. So that's the cool thing, is like hearing her name over and over and over, all over social media and all over message boards. And it's, you know, that's the most rewarding thing to me. It's like, you know, proving everybody wrong.
Yeah, I mean, Erica's and Naomi's name live on forever now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One day we're gonna tell Marcia's story, but I don't know if a shoe's the right way to tell that story. But you know, no matter how hard things were with me and my mom and the things we went through, she's still my mom.
Yeah.
And I love her to death. The most important thing she ever told me, and what keeps me motivated every day, is to never give up on myself, and that my imagination is the most important thing, and that, you know, kids need to stay kids, and imaginations need to continue to imaginate and be creative. And I think that's why I became who I became.
Yeah.
Just because of those magical words.
Man, I'd get that tatted in the back, your chest on that one, you know what I mean? But thank you so much for jumping on again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Anytime.
Yeah.
Let's do it again tomorrow.
Let's do it again tomorrow. I'll stay.
All right, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Woo. Yo.
What's up? This is like the ultimate crossover episode.
This is part 2 of the ultimate
Part
crossover
2.
episode.
I know we had a few technical difficulties last night, but that's okay. Shit happens.
It's a learning curve.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that was your first ever live. Was that your first live podcast?
No, me and the girls from Sneaky League Pod, we've actually we did a small, like very kind of similar, like with with Chic and Jordan Brand. That was like friends and family. There was like maybe 20, 30 people at that event. We did like a nice little live that's also on our platform as like a bonus episode. And then recently for All-Star Weekend with Shoe Palace and Jordan, we did it wasn't necessarily a pod.
No, that was the talk show, right?
Yeah, we did like a panel. They did it like, it was like Girl Talk, and we had, her name's Auntie Nay. She basically interviewed us, and we just talked a few things. So it wasn't really podcast, it was more panel, but we've done a few live things now. So getting more into the feel, but totally understandable the sound difficulties and microphones and all that. And especially when you have like people in the crowd, it's like, it's hard with the noise because some people talk and all that.
I mean, look, I did my best, but I think I thought the show went amazing. Like I think we got to talk to Phil about some really cool stuff, and like if you weren't there, then you're just gonna have to brave through what I did.
Exactly. No, I agree. Like the conversation was really good with Phil. I think one of the things probably had mentioned again. I think the coolest thing was the custom coloring in the Pantones.
Yeah, I had to bring it up again.
Yeah, I thought that was really awesome. And I forgot he had said that. It was like his grandma had picked those colors.
His grandma picking those colors.
I love that.
No, and then for him being like, I'm only going to make 100 of these. No, it's 60 or 100?
I think there's 100 of the green.
Yeah, the green ones.
And then 600 of the pink. So this run is very limited.
Yeah.
I know the last run with the Addy Cushion 3, the pork chops, the piggy runners.
14.
There was like more pairs, even though it was like limited. I feel like everyone in the city got to eat, so that was really nice. And then people online too, like I don't know if it was like global, but nationally, a lot of people ended up getting pairs, which was really awesome.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, apparently people were getting upset that people were oinking on the timeline.
I'm dead. That's funny as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, what did you think about that like event? And I like you've been to a bunch of sneaker events, and I'm new into getting the invites. So like
Well, the last event that was here, when I was back out here in March, honestly, I had told Phil this too. I was like, this was one of the best events I had been to in a while.
Yeah.
I've been doing the sneaker thing for a while, and especially like in LA, we do have a lot of events.
Yeah.
I feel like
she's been doing it for a while. Don't be
for a while.
Come on, yo, chill.
But. Yeah, I feel like pre-COVID, we've talked about this on our own podcast sometimes, like with the brands and the parties and stuff that we used to attend were so much more fun.
Yeah.
Like now, it just feels like sometimes it could be a rushed event or the detail just isn't there sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, they'll just throw up a step and repeat, a little background to have some people come through, and it's like, we love seeing all the familiar faces at these events, which really what makes it fun is like us coming through. But like there has definitely been a lack in some of the events like from pre-COVID to now, and I know it's budget, I know it is, but after going to Phil's event in March for the piggy runners and everything, I said, I was like, this has been one of my favorite sneaker events in the wild. Like, the venue was absolutely amazing. The sign museum was so cool.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I think just the detail that he puts into everything, not just his shoes, but the whole event was like really special and everything. So it was very, very noticeable. It was one of my favorite ones in a while.
Yeah, and in this one, his focus on inviting women here.
Yes.
His focus on, honoring his grandmother, honoring, his sister, and like just the Mother's Day, like doing this right on before Mother's Day, and we got to talk on the show about like just share some stories about our moms and the influences
exactly,
that we
our grandmas.
Yeah.
I think today at the venue, Phil also brought through some girls. Forgive me, I don't know the school name off the top of my head, but I didn't know that he's done this in the past for them with the other releases, and he allowed us to be a part of that. Me and some of the other girls talked to them, and like honestly, it made me want to cry just because it was just really special. Like it was just really nice. I'm one of those people. I love kids. I love doing stuff like that, and just seeing the girls' faces and getting shoes and being able to talk to them and like motivate them a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I was kind of like an awkward kid.
Were you?
I definitely was. I was a funny looking kid too. And I think just like seeing some of those girls, as a woman and being a girl and being, growing up insecure, feeling like I don't belong and seeing myself in some of those girls and being able to be a representation and being like, hey, like, you keep doing what you're doing, you can do whatever you want, and the message that Phil sent them, it was really special and a very beautiful thing to see and be a part of. So like, I really do appreciate that, Phil.
No, yeah. First of all, let me give you your flowers. Like, I watch you guys. I watch you gals, grow so exponentially fast. And y'all stay true to yourselves.
Absolutely.
We got to talk. We talked a little bit about how we differentiate ourselves from all the other podcasts, on stage yesterday. But y'all have been crushing it to the point that y'all, we're in on the list for the footwear news.
Yeah, footwear news. Ranking. That was really awesome. Being alongside a lot of those people and getting that recognition, because you've been doing it a little bit longer, but it has been really. It's been nice, like things that just like picked up, and just having that point from women's point of views, because there are so many like male dominated podcasts and like spaces, and just seeing like other girls now wanting to do something similar, seeing Key Lee starting her own podcast focusing on mental health and everything, because those are within her grounds and boundaries.
Make sure you check out Through Our Lens.
Yes, exactly. I forgot the name. I keep forgetting. I have a horrible memory, guys. You watch my podcast, I'm constantly like, I can't remember. But no, it's been really nice to get that, just the love and recognition for a lot of that stuff. Because like you said, we've been doing it. We've been in this game for so long.
Y'all three have been in this game for super. And I think I feel like, and the misconception, and it's what it is with content. Everybody thinks you just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah, no.
So it's like, just because you didn't find me 3 years ago doesn't mean I wasn't doing it for 7 years.
Exactly. I think like a lot, like for the thinking we popped up out of nowhere, it, like even prior to us launching the podcast, like we went live with our first episode in August 2023, and we had actually been working on the podcast for 6 to 7 months prior to that, coming up with every little detail, because we didn't want to just like sit down on a couch, record, and just put it out. Like we wanted it to be like a legit thing, and we really sat down with each other. Like, what are we trying? Like, what is our mission here? Our statement? What is the reasoning? What do we want to name it? We did like a photo shoot. We kind of put it out like 4 months, 5 months in advance. That like, hey, we're doing a podcast. It's coming. Be on the lookout. It's us. Yeah. So we kind of like got it a little bit like hyped and prepped, and like letting people know like it was coming before we dropped the first episode, and it's just been like. I was going to say nothing but love, but we got a little bit of hate too. But I mean, it's all part of the game. So
it's all part of the game. Like, look, as they say, if you got haters, you're doing something right.
I know, that's right. You ain't got no haters, you ain't mopping.
But this was once in a life. I mean, it's not once in a lifetime, but we definitely gonna do this again. I don't know if you want to. Are we still? I mean, I made it. We can announce that we're trying to do a show in Vegas.
Vegas.
For Complex Con.
We did talk about that. See, I forget everything. I do. I really want to. We want to get something with Complex popping for sure. I mean, if you've seen me and the girls at Complex Con last year, we was making waves, making headlines.
And then I got people mad at me because I was like, we were the only ones at Complex Con. If y'all not out there, y'all not making moves.
Exactly. So it was. I really hope so. Like, we want to do something big at Complex Con. We have our 2-year anniversary coming up in August. We want to do something for. So, I mean, we have a lot of stuff like to look forward to and coming up.
For sure. Just keep an eye on us, because as I was telling Phil, and I think I said this to you too. There's only 3 really good sneaker podcasts, and we are the 2. We are the other 2.
We are the 2.
We are the other 2, and we're at the top. Like, for real though, like y'all gotta like
there are like it's crazy. Like there are like multiple sneaker podcasts. But I'm not even gonna say it.
Nah, say it.
No, I just feel like some men can be very monotone. And it's I'm not gonna say hard to listen to. But I think it's just a breath of fresh air. And I know sometimes like my voice can be annoying. I know that. Me and the girls can be loud, but I think it just makes it more fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
I mean, with me, I'm like, my whole thing was just like with podcasting, or the podcast I listen to, I just want people to feel like a fly on the wall. Like if I'm having a conversation, like I'm pretty sure when people listen to be like, the way we did this just now, they're just like, damn, I wish I was there. That's what we want. Like, you know what I mean? Like with the setup in the room. Like you know how many times I'll be like, I'll watch and be like, damn, I gotta get on that couch. That's what everybody's been saying. You know what I mean?
So many people, it's crazy. Like I said this on the pod like probably a few weeks ago, where it's like people probably looked at us like, okay, good luck with your podcast. And then like almost 2 years later, people are like, when are you gonna get me on the couch? It's like, oh, you know what? We're booked. Like we gotta give it some time, because and then with our setup now, you know, we used to record weekly, and with Henny being in Portland, we're like do a lot of pre-recording. So it's definitely, we have to set up in advance, like who's going to be in town, who can we get on. Like it really is like people pull up to LA and be like, hey, I'm in town, can I come on the pod? We're like, it's a Thursday afternoon, sir. Like, it's crazy how people literally think like you could just
doesn't happen to me a lot. That's been happening to me a lot.
And it's not like annoying. It's you know, it's very
like you got to be like,
I'm flattered.
I get it,
But it's also
if it works, it works.
Yo, we set up like this is in my house. Like, it's like multiple things, but like we do try to accommodate a lot of people, because you know, between the three of us, and I'm sure you know, like you know a lot of people in the game, and you want to get everyone on, you want to tell everyone's stories, and it's amazing to have a platform that people want to come share their stories with you.
Yeah, it's dope, and I love what y'all doing. We gotta do my first sneaky leak again.
My first sneaky leak part two. Second sneaky leak.
The return. Yeah. But thank you for pulling up again.
Of course. Thank you for having me again. The other two aren't here, but it's okay. I be holding it down.
Yeah. And then, y'all. No, that's it.
I'll see you at the party tonight.
Welcome back. You know, I've been sitting here interviewing everybody, but yo, I can't believe I got to actually meet Melissa Chanel in person.
I know. I'm so excited. I've been meeting a lot of my faves in person, so I'm so excited to be here. Yes, of course. Always tuned into the pod, for sure.
Please. Yo, I loved our episode, like getting to talk about, you growing up and the evolution of kicks and fros, but you chopped off the fro.
I know. I chopped off the locks. They are gone.
The locks are gone.
I have a little mini fro, just a little bit.
Yeah. But you look amazing. I think the reset, like I said earlier, the reset looks amazing. We did a show yesterday. This is what I've been talking about. We did a show. The recording went really poorly. I'm getting text messages right now that it's bad. So
it happens. Technology. We can't help that. I know the live was dope in live. So if you were there in person, I know it was amazing. So it's okay. We here now. We here now. Turning it up.
It's but it's just wild, like seeing all the women come, the women creators come, like me and like the Sneaky League ladies and you in person. You know, we got T, we got Key, we got Gabby, we got
Jen. Everybody's here. Everybody's supporting. So excited. I love the storytelling. Phil and the team do a really great job. The storytelling, the details. It's all about the details. The box, the charms, laces, socks, everything that went into this release, and just knowing it's for the women that raised him, that made him the person he is today, is like just extra special. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
So like, you know, Mother's Day's coming. You got a little one. You know, what did this shoe make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel seen. It makes me feel like, you know, my bonus daughter is 10. So you don't really know what you're pouring into them until, you know, they get an adult. I
love that you call her a bonus daughter.
Yeah, that's my bonus baby. I'm her extra mama. But just knowing that all the hard work we put in, it works. You know, they're thankful for it. At the end of the day, we're teaching them something, and you know, to know hopefully one day Riley has a shoe dedicated to me. That would be cool. But just it makes me feel seen, and it makes me feel very special.
Yeah, you know, the evolution of kicks and fros into, you know, having the sneaker steam. What's it called? I know it's the
cleaner.
No. I'm talking about I was trying to name
Airstream.
The Airstream.
Yes, our office is the Airstream. Yes.
I was trying to be like the sneaker streamer.
But that's dope too. Tongue tie though. No, the Airstream.
How's it been since your episode? Like, how did it evolve for you? Like,
amazing. Like, since we talked, we have a new offering now. You are always able to come and customize a pair of sneakers. You could do a date night or a friend's night. And now we have a charm bar, a sneaker charm bar. So I didn't realize how many ladies and and men too, they come through as well and just switch out their laces, add charms, use our paint pens, and just get creative with sneakers. It can be an old pair that you're making new again, or a fresh out the box pair you want to jazz up.
Sick, yeah.
So seeing the charms in the box today really got me excited.
Phil's got Phil,
he's on it.
Phil's like, I'm gonna speak to Melissa right now. Hold
yes. So the Airstream has been awesome. Our new offerings have been going really great. We've been booked and busy, so I'm very thankful.
You got to be booked and busy, as they say. You know, the way that I like look. I mean, look. I'm a mom. Like my mom raised me, so I'm big on. It's okay. I'm big on honoring mothers, and so with this 218B, I'm calling it, or 218, part duh. Like I've been asking everybody that's been on here, like, do you have a sneaker story with your mom involving your mom?
Oh, that's interesting. So my mom was when I was younger, my brother got all the Jordans, all the dope Adidas, all the player sneakers. Every basketball player that had a sneaker, he had them. And for me, she wanted me to be this little girly, prissy girly girl. And I was like, I need the kicks too. But I do remember she put me on Air Max. So she always kept me in a fresh pair of Air Max. She always made sure I took care of my sneakers. So I would say that's like a cool story of not letting me dog them out all the time, making sure when I had to go somewhere and be presentable, I had some fly kicks to rock. So that, and a story of me and my best friend were going to see Bow Wow.
Okay.
A long time ago.
Long time. I thought you was like recently.
No,
I saw Cleo Thomas was like, we running it back.
No. Back in the day, and I airbrushed a pair of like new sneakers, and she got on my behind about that.
Oh, airbrush what? Like, did you like?
Yeah, I took them to get airbrushed. Like back in the day.
You got Bow Wow on one?
No, I got like my nickname on one, and on the other one. You know how like all the
with the script
young rappers were getting like the sneakers airbrushed. So me and my bestie were like, we're gonna take our kicks and get them airbrushed and wear it to the concert. And she was like, what? I just bought you those. I was like, oh, sorry, girl. So a lot of cool. Great memories because she put me on some really dope sneakers. But then some memories where she's like, all right, now, I didn't buy those or work hard to buy those for you to go and airbrush them. So I've been very creative with, adding colors and designs and paint to my sneakers from a very young age.
We off camera we talked about your involvement with Kamala's campaign. And strong women. I think that's the I feel like the theme of today. You know, like earlier, Phil got to talk to a bunch of young ladies. Young girls.
Yeah, I came up on the end of that. And it made me. I felt really good to see them.
What would you like to see more of like that, but like in your community? What would you like to see? Like,
more of like working with younger girls. I think just mentoring kids in general. I feel like we live in a very instant social media driven world, and I was able to talk to some young teenagers maybe like a week or so ago, just telling them that what they see isn't real. Like Kicks and Froze turns 8 this month, and knowing
guys, lower it down.
Kicks and Froze turns 8 this month, and just I put in a lot of work. This wasn't like an overnight success. What you see on social media is fake as hell. Like people you have to really work hard really put your head down and do the work in order to reap some of the benefits that you may see people share on social media. So just pouring back, like seeing Phil today, pour back into those girls. Yes, gifting them something very special, but sharing where this came from and how it came to be. So and I want to continue doing it, and I hope, people in my city and everywhere else just continue to pour into the younger generation, showing them that hard work and dedication is what makes you successful, not trying to go viral on a TikTok video.
Oh my God. I definitely feel like it's really been hard to kind of like separate people from that idea, right? I've had a lot of women on. I want to have more women on, and the space that like you have to navigate is so tumultuous, or especially in sneakers, like they're trying to. I feel like there are some. I feel like it's gotten a little bit better.
It is. It's gotten a little bit better. It's gotten a little bit better.
Slightly bit better.
But I feel like the sneaker community, as far as like men are concerned and how the men are involved, they really support the women. Like we appreciate you guys for like always turning up for us and making sure we're in spaces, making sure we're seen and heard. So we appreciate that too.
No, it's reciprocal. I think people really think that like, oh, this only has to be only guys thing, right? And I think that overall we just kind of got to show each other love.
Exactly, and help each other out and support each other. And I think it is changing little by little. We're getting there, baby steps, but it's getting there. Yeah,
we'll eventually get there. Yes. I think in due time with the things that you're doing with Kicks and Fro, like shout out to Tay with Respect Female Sneakerheads.
Yes.
Like the combination and the way that everybody like the women that are stepping up to change this, like that's what I love about like what you do. I love what Tay's been doing, and you know I hope you guys continue to keep pushing this forward, because that's what this like sneaker culture. That's what it's about. It's about pushing this forward, and this is what Phil has done with this. What do you specifically think of the shoe?
I love it.
What does it remind you, or like does it connect to anything for you?
Just the details, just all of the details, adding some femininity into like a chunkier sneaker, more of like a skateboard chunky sneaker. Adding those soft feminine details where it's not just glitter and a bunch of pink all over the place. It's very plush and it's very rich and expensive. That's what it's giving, and I love it. I love it so much.
He went crazy on these.
He did go crazy. Both colorways are fly. They look so good in person. They're comfortable as hell, and the quality is like A1. For sure.
A1. Are you excited for the event? So
excited to be here. So excited to celebrate. So excited to hang with my girls. Meeting some of them for the first time. And happy to be here. So thank you for having me.
No, thank you for pulling up, Mel. Yo,
of course.
Everybody, make sure you to sign up. Tell everybody about Kicks and Fros.
Yes, please.
You know, we did a giveaway for your episode. I wish we had more engagement on that one, but the next one.
We'll do it again. We'll run it back.
And make sure you cop that Kicks and Fro sneaker cleaner.
Yes. Kicksandfros.com.
Yeah. Support Melissa and her journey and the business.
Yes.
And
thank you.
Thank you for pulling up. Yeah.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Talk soon.